Okay, welcome to part 4 of making fractions and reviewing fractions from our previous 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade year. We are now up to this bottom level, and we're actually going to break this into 2 videos, but we're going to write the title of it. It's going to be multiplying / dividing fractions. Okay, some people like to put a little thing there showing multiplying and dividing. Okay, so multiplying and dividing fractions. Sorry, my L kind of collided with my Y there. Okay, multiplying and dividing fractions. So this one's going to stay with just multiplying. So let's open our books. Okay, and we're only going to do the top today, okay, in this video. So we're going to talk about multiplying up here. All right, and we're going to put down what our steps are for multiplying. So step 1. Step 1 is cross cancel where you can by common factors. Okay? Cross canceling by common factors. And the way we're going to do that, is we're going to go from numerator to denominator. I can't tell you how many people do all these weird things, but cross means you got to take one from the top, one from the bottom. Now, what does that really mean? So I'm going to use letters for a second here, okay? I'm going to show you 2 fractions, A over B times C over D, okay? So those are 2 fractions. You can go up and down this way, so top to bottom here. You can also go across, right? You can crisscross here. That's where the word cross cancel comes from. So you can go from top to bottom, so I can go from C to B or D, or A to B or D, or I can go right on top of each other. I can cancel this way. So those are the directions I can cancel. Okay, and then after I'm done canceling, everything's canceled out, we would just say A times C, whatever that turns out to be, and B times D, whatever that is, and we would get that. So that's the idea. So we're going to cross cancel where you can by common factors, and we're going to talk about that and show that a little bit more in a minute when we do an example. Okay, and then number 2, when you've done all of this, guess what? All you have to do is multiply across. It's pretty simple. Multiply across. All right. And then number 3, simplify if possible. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you did your canceling correctly, if you canceled everything that you were supposed to and you multiply, this isn't going to happen. You don't need step 3. So if you do everything you're supposed to do in step 1, then you don't need to do anything else, because step 1 and step 2 will take care of everything. But if you leave anything behind, this is going to make you think about it. So we're going to do one example here. Okay? And we are going to work it out. So what we're going to do is 3/12, one example only. 3 divided by 12 times 4 divided by 15. Okay? 3 divided by 12 times 4 divided by 15. Now, if you don't cross cancel, what happens? If you don't cross cancel, this is what happens. You multiply straight across. 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 times 15 is 180. And you're going to do a lot of simplifying. This is just way, 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 way too much work. Okay? So what we want to think about is what's going on here and what we can cancel. So what we want to do is find common factors. So 3 and 4 look pretty good. And we know that 12 is the same as 3 times 4. And 15 is the same as 3 times 5, okay? So what I'm going to do is use these as my numbers instead of the 12, instead of the 15. I'm going to use these factors, these common factors. So I'm going to look for factors that they have in common. So here I have a 4 here and a 4 here. Remember, one from the numerator, one from the denominator. So I can cross those out because we know that 4 divided by 4 is like a giant 1. So that's going to go away. Here's another one, 3 to 3. So that becomes like a giant 1. And that goes away. So we don't have any other canceling. So now we just multiply straight across. I have 1 times 1, which is 1. And this is 1 over here. 1 times 15, which is 15, and I'm done. If I get all the canceling, I'm done right away. So one of the things to think about this idea here, I'm going to show it over here. Okay, I'm going to show you what this would look like if we were to try and do some canceling. So let's say I had a 3. I'm going to make this a little fraction here. So this is going to be a 3. I'm going to do all the factors here, 2 and a 2. And then this is going to be a 3. And we know 4 can break down to 2 times 2, right? And then 3 times 5. So these are all the factors. 3 times 2 times 2 gets me 12. 3 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 will get me 180. Okay, I just broke down all the factors. So what are the things we know from one of the first things we wrote? We talked about fractions of 1. Any number over itself equals 1. So this is a giant 1. This is a giant 1. This is a giant 1. So all that's left here in the numerator is 1 times 1 times 1, which is that 1. 1 times 1 times 1 times 3 times 5 is 15. So hopefully this idea of canceling makes a little bit more sense to you, because if you do this, then you're already simplified. If you don't do this, you're going to be stuck with big numbers like this, and that's not the final answer. That's the answer if you want to get a C in this class. You want to get an A, you want an A or B, you want to be able to work it all the way down. Okay, so that's my example for multiplying.